Today I'm going to be discussing grading and the grading tools. Um, the reason I'm doing this is because I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people who just aren't wrapping their heads around it. So I wanted to make a video that might make things a little bit simpler. Let's start off with a simple building pad. I've got a building pad here, and this building right here happens to be let's see, we have a 200 by 100, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 200 by 100 building. Okay, nothing fancy. Um, when you are creating grading objects, grading likes to work with feature lines. Actually, it needs to work with feature lines. It doesn't like to work with feature lines. It needs to. Okay, so I'm going to first convert this to a feature line. What a feature line is like a 3D polyline, but on steroids. Okay. So I'm going to go to feature line and create a feature line from objects, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and I'm going to put this in a site. Now, if I want a grading group, the feature lines do not have to be in the site. Just recently, in the past couple of releases of Civil 3D, they have given you the option to not put it in a site. So you have the option to put it in a no site. But if you're going to put it in a site, you have to understand how sites work, and I have another video for that I can attach to this link as well. But you have to understand that objects in the same site will interact with each other. So it's best you know what objects you want to put in what site, and I can explain that in the other video that I created. So this will be a building pad. I can give this a name if I want. Let's call this one the building outline. And let me put my caps on because I prefer caps. Outline. I can choose what style I want. I can choose what layer I want, and so on and so on. I'm going to go ahead and assign elevations. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to get my elevations from the existing ground surface right now. Okay. And I'm not going to insert intermediate grade breakpoints. If I did that, everywhere everywhere that my triangles cross my surface, I will get extra points that I need to manage in reverse. I'll do that in the next one. Okay, I'm going to click OK, and I've got myself a feature line, and it happens to be in the site 1 right now. See, these are the items that can be in a site. And if I look at this feature line and I right click and select edit elevation editor, you'll see that I can control the corners. Let me go ahead and take this down just a little. And every corner has its own station assigned to it. Okay, back to the beginning. Now it's a building pad, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a nice flat rate building. Let's go ahead and just make this a nice and even elevation of 200. Okay, so that building pad has an elevation of 200. Now let's talk about the grading tools. In the grading section, so Home tab, Create Design Panel, there's a grading pull down. I'm going to do the grading creation tools. Okay, this will pop up, this toolbar here. You must have a grading group, and the grading group is what controls how this works. But the grading group belongs in a site, so I'm going to use this button right here to create the grading group. I'm going to click that. I'm going to call this one a building pad, and I can turn on the option of automatic surface creation, or I can turn that on later. I can turn it on now or later, I should say. Let's don't turn it on right now. Okay. And then Civil 3D ships with 4 standard grading tools, and you can manipulate these if you want. But really, we can take a look at these. Let me go take a look at this one right here. This is grade to a distance. So if I look at the criteria, it's set to grade to a distance, and the default distance is 1. But you see this padlock here, that means it's open, and it's going to ask me at the command line if I want to accept 1 or if I want to put something else in. My projection will be slope, and my default format is slope, but I also have the option of grade. Since this is not locked, it's going to ask me at the command line if I want to the slope or grade. You'll see all these. Anything that's unlocked, it asks me. So I said there was 4 default. There's grade to distance. There's also grade to surface, which tells you grade to a surface. My default here is slope. I'm going to uncheck these. My default format is slope. You'll see that I have the option now to grade grade based on grade. Okay, so I'm not going to change any of this. I'm just showing you what's there. There's relative elevation and elevation, grade from a specific point to a specific elevation, and grade from a specific point relative to that elevation and so on. I'm going to cancel this, but really all 4 of those are already preset here. Okay, so I'm going to use the 4 basic ones. When I'm ready, I have got my building pad right here. That's my group that belongs into. And if you look over here, when I created it, it added the building pad group to my site, the same site that my feature line resides in. Okay, so those 2 now can interact with each other. The surface is the surface I'm going to grade back to. That wasn't preset automatically. When you created the grading group, it asked you, and if you, I guess I clicked too fast, but if I got the wrong surface here, I can click this and go set the surface that I want to grade to. Actually, the reason it was set automatically is because that's the only surface I have in my drawing. Okay. So with that said, here's a criteria. I'm going to grade from this building out, we'll go 50 feet at a -2% grade from the building. Okay, so let's use grade to distance. I'm going to use the create grading. I'm going to select the feature line. And at this point, all I really need to do is follow the steps at the command line. Select the side you want to grade. I want to grade to the outside. Click. All right. Do you want to apply to the entire length of the line? In this case, I'm going to say yes. Yes. All right. What's your distance? I already told you 50 feet. 50 feet. Do you want to grade by grade or slope? I'm going to say grade. So I'm going to select the option of grade. And okay, so what's your grade? I'm going to say -2, -2%. All right, there I go. I went 50 feet, -2%. Okay, and now what you don't know is that it created another feature line out here for me. So let's just say from here, I want to, for argument's sake, let's create a little trench here. I want to grade a 5 feet out with no difference in, actually no, 5 feet out, and I want to grade to an elevation 1 foot lower than what it is. Okay, so grade to elevation, grade relative elevation. I'm going to select this right here, select this feature line now. I want to apply the entire length. Yes, so I'm going to come out here. My relative elevation is going to be negative, what did I say, -1, -1 foot down. My slope is going to be, I'm going to do this time greater slope. I'm going to do I'll do a grade of, we'll do -5%, I guess. And there we go. I went 5 feet at a grade of -5%. Okay. And so on and so on. Now I can grade back to surface. Let's go grade to surface. I'm going to come over here and select create grading. Once I set my criteria, I'm going to select my feature line right here, length in this case. And I want to go 3 to 1 until I hit my surface. So I'm going to go slope 3 to 1 on my fill. Okay, my fill is going to be a slope as well of 3 to 1. The first one I should have said was a cut. And there we go. I have myself some grading features. Okay, and let's talk about what we have here. Let me select everything here, including the inside items. And let's show you what we have here. Let's go to my object viewer. And you're going to see that I have this right here. Okay, so I went out and out some more, and there's not much of a difference here, so there's really not anything going on here. But I do have a hole right there in the middle of my site, so I do have to create the infill. So let me come back over here and select create infill and drop that in here. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and show my contours, I can select any one of these diamonds over here, any one of these diamonds, right click and go to Grading Group Properties. And I'm going to turn on the option to create the automatic surface creation. I'm going to call this surface building pad. It's going to be a 1 foot, 5 foot design. I'm okay with that. And my volume based surface will be existing ground. I'm going to hit apply and okay. And you're going to see there is my surface. Okay, there it is. Okay, let me take this down just a little here so it fits. So I've created the building pad surface. Now, the nice thing about grading is this. I made a mistake. I went from here to here 50 feet. There was a mistake. I should have actually gone just 25 feet. Not to worry about it. I can select one of these diamonds here, these grading group objects, right click, and go to the grading editor. And when I do that, I have the option to change the data right here. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to, let me expand this just so you can see here. I'm going to change my distance from 50 to 25. And when I do that, watch what happened over here. Everything adjusted accordingly. Okay. Now let's do a pond. Okay. I'm going to come back over here. I'm done with this one right here. Let's do a pond on this item right here. That's a pretty big pond here. So I'm going to first create my feature line from objects. I'm going to select this feature line right here. And I'm going to put this, I can put this in the same site. I'm not too worried about it because they don't cross, so I don't care. So I'll put it in the same site as the other one. And I'm going to call this one my pond rim. Okay. I'll assign elevations from my existing ground surface, but this time I'm going to insert intermediate grade breakpoints. Okay. Just so you can see me make this mistake. Okay. I'm going to click OK. And when I click on my feature line, you're going to see I have a lot of vertices. Everywhere my triangles on my surface cross this line gives me one of these vertices. So I made the mistake, not to worry about it. I can simply select the feature line, go to the elevation editor, and I don't want to control every feature just like this. So I'm going to do a Control A to select them all. And I'm actually going to delete all my grading point, my elevations. But notice there's 5. It starts at 0, goes back around, and circles in on itself, I should say. So there's really only 4 vertices in this file, but these cannot be deleted because these are the true vertices of the rectangle here. So this is going to be a raised type of a pond. Let me go ahead and give it some outlandish number. Our hardest is 203. I'm going to go 20. We'll go with 210. No. Yeah, 210's fine. Sure, whatever. So they're all going to be 210. Okay. I'm done with this. So now let me take this and smooth this up here because I don't have a grading. I've never graded a pond with perfect 90-degree angles. So I'm going to select the feature line, and in the toolbar that pops up here, I'm going to go to Edit Geometry. And actually, yeah, Edit Geometry. And the one that I want is, where are you? It's Fillet, right? No, that's razor lower. They all look alike, so you got to be real careful. Let's get. Oh, I turned it off. That's the problem. Edit Geometry must be on. There we go. And the one I'm looking for is this one right here. It's Fillet, similar to an AutoCAD fillet command. I'm going to select Fillet, and it's going to ask me what's your radius. Let's go with a radius right now of, I'm going to go 200 because I know what that's like a 700 by like 500 or something like that. I think something like that. So 200-foot radius. That's too big. So let's do a radius of 50. That's good. 50. Perfect. And I'll do all corners. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate my berm and start stepping off into the inside doing some lowering here. So first and foremost, I'm going to select my feature line. And I'm going to generate a 15-foot driving berm just for argument's sake. Okay? So I select it. And then I'm going to look right over here and I'm going to find there is one called stepped offset. Let me find that one real quick. It's somewhere right around here. I know you're stepped offset right here. Stepped offset. You select stepped offset. You specify the distance. I told you 15 feet. 15 it is. Okay. Specify the side you want to offset. I will go ahead and go to the inside over here. So I'm going to go 15 feet to the inside. And I'm going to have an elevation difference of 0. So as you can see, it's already set there. So I'm just going to hit enter. Okay. So there's my driving berm. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to go 25 feet inside down until 25 feet, a distance of 25 and a slope of negative 2 to 1. We'll just say that. I'm just picking numbers, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing, stepped offset. Select this feature line, stepped offset, I'm going to go 25 feet on my distance. I want to specify to the inside. And then I have the option right here at the command line to do a slope. I'm going to go -2 to 1. Okay, so there is a 25 foot down to slope of -2 to 1. Okay, and maybe I need to adjust the radius on the radii on these corners. Maybe not, I don't know. If I did, I just run the fillet command again. I'm going to do it on the next one because I'm going to have to, I'm sure. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to do another stepped offset, and this time I'm going to go, I don't know, we'll go 30 feet on the stepped offset, so 30 to the inside. I'm going to click. And this time I'm going to go at a grade of negative, I don't know. I'm just picking numbers here. We'll go -60%. I'm going to make it really crazy. Okay. So -60% grade. Okay. As you can see, I've now got some corners that need to be fixed. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to run the fillet command again. And I'm going to do a radius. We'll go with, I don't know. We'll just do 15. 15, and we'll do it on all corners. And there we go. Good, bad, or ugly, that's the way it is, okay, for this one. And I'm going to do one more for the heck of it. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to do, let's just say I want a landing down there. I'm going to do a 10 foot with no change in elevation. So I'm going to do a stepped offset. I'm going to go 10 feet, and I want to go to this side, and I want to do an elevation difference of 0. Okay, and that is now the same elevation. And I know I said one more, but I'm going to throw another one in there for argument's sake because I want to do one more thing. So now I'm going to come down here, create my final wall, my final slope down. I'm going to select it, do a stepped offset. I will go another 30 feet, and I'm going to go to the inside. And this time I'm going to do, we can do any one of these. We'll just do a slope of -3 to 1. Okay, and there we go. Now, for argument's sake, I want all my water to drain to the midpoint of this line right here. So I'm going to select that feature line. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to the elevation editor, and I'm going to take a look at what we have. So this is at 169.5. I'm going to add another elevation point in there. I'm going to add one right here to the midpoint of this line right there. Click. And when I do so, come on, click. When I do so, it says, okay, there's the elevation there. Do you want to accept that? In this case, I don't. I'm going to drop this down to 160 just so we can have it. So you can see the drastic difference. I'm going to click OK. And now I have a point right there that represents my 160 elevation. So now let's take a look at what I've got so far. I'm going to select all my feature lines. I'm going to right click and go to Object Viewer. And I'm going to turn this around here. And you're going to see all those lines at different elevations. And you see this point right here, that's my 169 point. Okay, so I'm almost done. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use my grading tools, grading creation tools. This time I'm going to create a new grading group. This one, I'm going to put it in Site 1, but I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this one Pond. Okay. This time I'll turn on the automatic surface creation. It's not going to hurt. I'll use my volume-based surface as my existing ground, and there it is. It's going to be a pond. I click OK, and then I'm going to click OK. So there it is. Now all I have to do is I'm going to start with grade to surface over here. I'm going to grade to surface. I'm going to grade this feature line right here to this side. And this time I'm going to throw a little kink in here. I don't want to apply to the entire length. Let's just say from this point right here, I'm going to just click, and my command line is going to say, is this the station you want? I'm going to accept that. That point to say this point right here, I'm going to just come over here and I'm going to go, come on, there, I'm snapping to something there. Let's go click right there to that station. I'm going to do a grade, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do grade, I want to do a slope. So let me back out of that right here. Let's do this one right here. I'm going to grade to this side. No, I don't want to apply the entire length. I want to come right here, and that's fine for that station. and I'm going to come right here, and that's fine for that station. And I want to do a slope for my cut, and my slope's going to be, I'll take 3 to 1. That's fine, 3 to 1. I want to, for my fill, I would like slope as well, and I would do 3 to 1. Okay, so from there to there, it's 3 to 1. I'm going to select this again, and I'm going to grade to this side. My start point's going to be here, and I'm going to take that station, and my other start point, my other end point is going to be right here. And I'm going to take that station, and I'm going to do a slope. This time, though, I want to do, we'll go, I don't know, 5 to 1, 5 to 1, just for argument's sake. Slope, 5 to 1, slope. So on the bottom portion, I have 5 to 1. On the top portion, I have 3 to 1. However, I've got some gaps here because I now need to create the transition between the two. So I'm going to come up here and create the transition, select the feature line, pick a point between the two grading objects, click. It's going to do the math for me. I do that one. I'm going to click this one, and then it's going to do the math for me when I click there. When I hit enter or escape to get out of the command, it will automatically create that for me. So now how do I get these lines in here? This is the easiest part right here. Now that these are elevations, and they're basically polylines with elevations, if you think of it like that, I'm simply going to select them, right click, and go add to surface as a break line. And I'm going to add them to my pond surface. And I'm going to click OK. I'm going to call this, my pond lines if I want, apply my weeding or whatever factors if I need to. I'm going to click OK, and you will see there is my surface, object viewer. There is my surface, good, bad, or ugly. There is my surface with all the landings that we just created. There's the point where I told it to all grade down to. That's my 169 point. And there it is. And then when it's all said and done, something you should be aware of, I'll do this with the building because there's too many feature lines here. If something should change and we have to move the building, let's just say that's not where it goes, you do not move the entire grading object. That is just a disaster waiting to happen. What you do is you select the feature line. Let me turn on my selection cycling, which I do not have on right now. So let me come over here, turn on selection cycling, and then have it right here. Okay. I'm going to go select my selection cycling, and I'm going to select the feature line. Should I move the feature line, just using the regular AutoCAD move command, I'm going to move it down here now. The grading group follows it. I'm going to move previous, and I'm going to move it back up to here. The graded group follows it. So just be aware of that. Okay. And when it's all said and done, there's your grading groups. Then you just merge two surfaces together, and you should be good to go. All right. I hope this helps. Thank you.